Okay, this week we talked a little about the flipped classroom model and some studies that have gone into looking at that. From the readings, the flipped classroom, it's kind of mixed in terms of the effect on academic performance. Some of the studies that we had this week looked at, a negligible effect. Some had slightly negative or slightly positive, or when you adjust the variables, those can change as well. The flipped classroom might have the potential to support like the current changing educational environment where a lot of people are looking for more agency in how they approach learning about things and more flexibility and the ability to engage with the material and engage with instructors in different ways. um, but some of the implementations talked about in the readings weren't super effective in engaging students. In the videos, it talks about similar things. Online learning is on the rise. The flipped classroom model is getting attention because of that. But one thing I thought was interesting in the videos was that it talked about the potential disadvantage for some students, whether it's minority students or students who are just underprepared and don't know the hidden curriculum that comes with education at times, even higher education. And a lot of studies, again, showed a small, like negligible advantage over traditional. Um, and there's also the concern that students may lack self-discipline or the habits that you need to learn independently to come prepared to class when the classroom model has been implemented. It was also interesting to see some gender differences where female students were learning better in a flipped model, for whatever reasons there might be for that. In terms of reacting to the reading, yeah, I've explored a little bit of flipped classroom model before. I hadn't really looked at it in this way where it was totally not asynchronous, where students would just engage on their own and then come to school. I think especially in K-12, I don't think that's a sustainable model. I think there's challenges engaging students in person, and I think in the modern classroom, I've seen that it's hard to ask students to go home and do something and expect it to be done when they come back. I think we're entering a different time in education where that's hard to do in K-12. I can see how you can do that in higher education, when people are directly paying for it, and so the onus is a little bit more on students to engage themselves anyway. I think that can definitely work there. But in the K-12 sense, I've always viewed a flipped classroom as like, handing the reins to students a little bit more. Like maybe they get to take the lead in an activity and learn it and then teach each other independently while the teacher's more of a facilitator. I hadn't really seen it as more of an online model in that way. Like I said, the videos say the same thing. I mean, I think it would be good for higher education. I don't think it's a super great idea for K-12 learning. I liked that it talked about the quality of the teacher and the quality of the materials are important, right? Like, I think if you have material you're hoping for students to engage with that is pretty unengaging, that they don't want to be a part of or they don't see the utility of, then students aren't going to be engaged no matter what format classroom it is. You're still relying on competent professionals to be able to put things together for students that are relevant to the curriculum, that are culturally responsive to students, that will engage them. And whether it's a flipped classroom or a traditional classroom, like that class time you have with students is limited, so you have to use it wisely, right? And if you're going to rely on students coming to class totally prepared from materials that you've set out for them, those materials had better be engaging, right? Like if they're not, then you're going to come to class, you're going to try to have a discussion or try to help them through the work, and you're going to have to catch everybody up. So I think it's important that educators are competent and well versed in the flipped classroom model, and that the materials they prepare for students are of a pretty high quality as well, or else it's not going to work higher education or K-12. And those are my thoughts. Thanks.